Welcome students to the second session of Social Science. We have started the chapter Arrival of Europeans and learned that many European countries came to India for trading. First was Portuguese, then Dutch, Britishers and French. Out of them, the Britishers emerged as the winners, and then later on, how did they carry on their trade in Bengal? That is our next topic. British trade in Bengal. The British first started their trade on the banks of the river Hooghly and established forts in the year 1651 CE. The forts were garrisoned for their protection of the factory and got the permission from the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to trade without paying taxes against an annual payment. Here you come to know that Britishers just came for trade, but they established their forts on the bank of river Hooghly, and they also protected their forts for the protection of their factory, and for that they got permission from the Aurangzeb, and even without paying taxes they got the permission. They have to only pay the taxes yearly, means annually one time tax they have to pay, otherwise they don't have to pay any taxes. You can see the picture of the ships of the Britishers and their forts. Our next topic is the expansion of British rule between 1757 CE and 1857 CE. By this time, the East India Company was in a race to earn more and more money as per the order passed in Bengal. Only the company availed the benefit of tax-free trading. However, many officers who were engaged in private trade did not pay the taxes as well. As a result, the income generated from the tax collection in the Bengal reduced, which in turn was opposed by the Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan. This dispute kept on recurring even today at the time of Alivardi Khan. After Alivardi Khan, his son Sirajudawla took charge and he got involved into major battle with the British. See, the British East India Company only got the permission from the Aurangzeb, but the different traders, the traders who were trading, who were not involved in British East India Company, they also came to India for trading, but they did not pay any taxes. So the income which was generated by the tax collection in Bengal came into shortage. So the Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan, he started opposing. This dispute kept on recurring even after at the time of Alivardi Khan. And after Alivardi Khan, Sirajudawla came on the throne, and so he announced a battle towards the Britishers. This is the picture of Sirajudawla. Now we are going to learn how did the Battle of Plassey take place. Sirajudawla became Nawab of Bengal in the year 1756. He had an overwhelming influence over the British. That means he had a great effect over the British. The British helped the competitors of Sirajudawla by conspiring against him so that he would not remain on the throne of Bengal. That means the Britishers helped the competitors of Sirajudawla to let the Sirajudawla come down from his throne. There were frequent conflicts with the British merchants regarding payment of taxes because the Britishers were not paying the taxes. When the British merchants failed to pay taxes which were applicable to both Indian and foreign merchants, the situation came to a boil. Taxes were to be paid by both the Indian and foreign merchants. But when the Britishers were not able to pay the taxes, the situation became very serious. He ordered that the British should not fortify the factory, pay the taxes as per the rules, and trade as per the terms and conditions. So now Siraj has taken the action and said the Britishers that you have to pay the taxes compulsorily and you have to also follow the rules and regulations. This provocation was enough for Siraj to opt for war and he succeeded in expelling the British from Calcutta. Here, provocation means the action which makes someone angry. So, this action was enough for Siraj to opt for the war. That means that was a choice for Siraj to fight against the Britishers because they were not able to pay the taxes, and he was also successful in throwing the Britishers out from Calcutta. As the Britishers has to go away from Calcutta, they felt insulted, so they thought of taking the revenge. The Britishers counterattacked under the leadership of Robert Clive. Clive bribed the Mir Jafar, the commander-in-chief of Sirajudawla, with a promise to confer the throne of Bengal to him and convince him to join their side. That means they bribed the commander-in-chief of Sirajudawla, Mir Jafar, and made him towards their side and also promised to give him the throne after the battle. With his help, Robert Clive defeated and murdered Sirajudawla in the Battle of Plassey. This was the first war fought by the company in India, which marked the beginning of the British rule in India. That means with the help of Mir Jafar, who took the side of Britishers, they defeated Sirajudawla and Sirajudawla was killed in this battle, the Battle of Plassey. And this was the first war fought by the company in India, which marked the beginning of the British rule in India. Thus, this war is considered to be a turning point in the history of India. After Battle of Plassey, the next battle which was fought by the Britishers was Battle of Buxar. As promised, the East India Company appointed Mir Jafar as Nawab of Bengal. Robert Clive also went back to England. With the passage of time, Mir Jafar became hostile towards the British. After Siraj appointing Mir Jafar, the Britishers thought that that will be helpful for them. But with the passage of time, means after some time, Mir Jafar also started opposing the Britishers. Now the company decided to replace him with his son-in-law Mir Qasim. And Mir Qasim was an efficient, disciplined and clever ruler. The problem arose between Nawab and company on account of non-payment of taxes. The game of Britishers again repeated by removing Mir Jafar and making Mir Qasim, who was son-in-law of Mir Jafar, they made him the king. And then again the problem arose of non-payment of taxes, which ultimately brought both the forces face to face with each other. In 1763, Mir Qasim defeated by the company, but he escaped. He reorganized his army along with the forces of Nawab of Oudh, Shujauddawla and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. That means Britishers never wanted to pay taxes for the trading which they were doing with India. So, Mir Qasim and the Britishers ultimately brought the both forces face to face with each other and started a fight. in which Mir Qasim was defeated by the company, but he ran away from there. And again he reorganized the army along with the three major kings, that is Nawab of Oudh, Shujauddawla and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. The army of Mir Qasim, that is Nawab of Oudh, Shujauddawla and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam, their force and the company forces met at the Battle of Buxar in 1764. The British East India Company won the war, and all of a sudden Bengal, Awadh, Lucknow and Mughal Empire was under their control. Robert Clive was sent to India to take control of the situation. That's how the East India Company, a trading company, emerged as a political power in the subcontinent of India. In Battle of Buxar, the Britishers were the winner, and suddenly they got the rule of Bengal, Awadh and Mughal Empire, and that is why they called back Robert Clive to take the control of the situation. And that's how the East India Company of Britishers, which initially came to India for trading, emerged as a political power in the subcontinent of India. Dear students, this was the end of our chapter. I have sent you a PDF where I have noted down the important points of the chapter and also sent the exercise done with questions and answer. Moreover, you can even download the textbook from internet and study and read the chapter along with it.